Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. It is Coffee with Eddie, and my guests today are the one and only Ambrea Mikolajczyk and Kevin Mikolajczyk. And there's something I want to read off your Instagram page that I really loved. In here you said, prayer is incredibly powerful. Kevin and I are a force. It's hard to work with your spouse day in and day out. We disagree often, but at the end of the day, we always figure it out and seek ways to move forward. Projects of this magnitude take a long time to come to fruition, to readjust expectations as each project is different. And this is the part I really love. The word no is commonplace when you're a dreamer. We heard it over and over and over again, but we refuse to let no be the last word we heard, nor give into it. That's incredibly powerful. And man, on so many levels, you guys are an inspiration for the community, but especially for younger kids that right now maybe are struggling going through school, and maybe school isn't their thing and they just haven't found their thing yet and they're still dreaming about it. To hear words like that coming from people that are successful in the community, that's very powerful.
Yeah, I really wanted to be upfront about that because people are just hearing our story. But they're discounting all the hard work and no's we've had to hear just to get to this point. When I think about the 15-unit building that we purchased when we met you, we couldn't get a loan. I mean, there were institutions we were going to, and that was the first time that we had really stepped our game up. Before, we were doing our duplexes and single-family homes, but that was a level up for us. And quite frankly, banks weren't willing to take those chances. But we went to bank, and then finally, I remember this one institution, they told us no to the first ask. And I'm on the phone with her, and she's telling me they said no. And I vividly remember saying, why did you say no to this full amount? Isn't there some amount that you could lend us that will help us on this project? Because we need some money and any amount would help. And she said, you know what, Ambrea, you're right. And she said, I'll take this back to the board and I'll have an answer for you. And she called me back. It was a lesser amount, but it was still money that we used to help us get, I think at that time it was the electrical upgrade. But literally just having that type of persistence is key. But, so many times people hear no and they stop right there and they don't ever pursue it again. We've heard it countless times on so many projects, but we literally just keep going. Or we use it as an opportunity to grow, to get better. Sometimes we needed to hear no so we could step our game up. And it allowed us to be stretched. So no is definitely commonplace, but it shouldn't be the last thing that people hear or let people stop them from keeping.
Well, and it's that kind of perseverance that does create success. I've seen it on social media several times where they show the top of the iceberg and they show all the success, and then under the water is all the work and effort that went into it. And people don't get to see those things. So whether you're looking at a basketball player or CEO, you don't see all the grind that happens beforehand.
Right. The hours and the hours that it takes for them to be in the gym or, be in the weight room, perfecting the craft and just, everything. Even when I think about when I wanted a pharmaceutical sales career, I treated it like my job. I researched crazy. I talked to the people in the field. I studied. I'd buy every book in the library or at Nobles that would tell me how to get into pharmaceutical sales. And I studied and practiced like it was my job. So when the time came, I was ready. And so that part people don't see and they discount and they just think, oh my gosh, how did, you're here. That's so great. What happened?
Right.
And I'm like, okay,
right.
Years of the hardest work you can possibly imagine has happened. You can't discount the hard work.
And your family's livelihood is on the line at the same time.
Yeah. Yep. 100%, especially with Wonder Bread. People.
Well, every one of them.
Every one of them.
Every one of them we're signing our life away.
Yeah. No, it's personal.
Yeah.
And that's what, we're just not showing up to collect a check. We're showing up, and to your point, this is our livelihood. Like we might not be, the people that we employ may not be able to eat. And so this risk that we're taking, we cannot fail. So we have to figure it out some sort of way.
That's right. So Kevin, you had mentioned something earlier that I remember reading in your bio on your guys' website. You said creative. And I remember when I went to the Warehouse District open house to see you guys, And one of the very cool things that I saw there was this old table that was laid out. And I asked what the table was. And he goes, well, what we think it was is guys were rolling cigars here. And the table had 2 indentations. You guys turned it into a vanity in the bathroom, correct?
Yes.
That's really incredible.
Yeah, it's this cool old table. So the original purpose of this warehouse that we live in is a tobacco factory. And so it's got pretty neat history, and we found a lot of cool things. But we try to repurpose as much as we find. And so literally, when we found that, I was like, maybe it should be a vanity. It doesn't even work. And then it actually worked beautifully. And then
we tore the wall down and rebuilt the wall to fit
the.
It worked out beautifully.
Yeah. Piece of cake.
Yes.
So let's talk about another piece of cake that happened with that building. The back of it was falling off. Isn't that correct?
It's only one side. It's got 3 others.
That's the right attitude. So how did you look at that and think, oh, I can save that?
I guess the same way I look at everything. Just,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But, we knew we wanted to live downtown Toledo, and we were driving every single street for a good, 2-3 months, trying to find the right building in a right area. We have 4 children. They still need to go outside and play. We were trying to figure out the right building. And so when we found this, and rubble was everywhere and it was falling apart, but yet it's kind of secluded, but right where everything is happening, that outdoor space.
Yeah.
Was like, okay, it was like a diamond in the rough. I mean, it was really bad, really bad. In fact, when we were walking through with the realtor, it was so moldy, and it literally, Kevin says, natural waterfalls everywhere, but there was water pooling in. The original wood floors were buckling, and there were mushrooms growing out of the ceiling. Everywhere. There were mushrooms, there was water, and I remember looking at Kevin. I was very pregnant, and I said, I want it, Kevin. And I was excited. And he's like, keep it together, right? Your face. But it literally was falling apart. But I just fell in love with the history of it, the bones of it, with the exposed brick. I can see that was behind the plaster, and just the structure with the original wood beams. And I knew it could be special. So.
Most clients I would take into a home that looked like that, we wouldn't even make it 2 steps in. And you said, yes, this is it.
Yeah, no, to your point, we had a lot of subcontractors we were trying to get numbers from, and they would walk in and walk right back out and tell us we were crazy. And that if we were serious, call them when we were further along, because they didn't want anything to do with it. They said that we were crazy.
Well, I appreciate the time you guys have spent with me. I'm very happy to know you and to be friends with you guys, and very happy to see all the positive things you're doing for our community. Thank you so much for your time.